right, a very good afternoon, good morning and good evening from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India with the worldwide net, the DATV net, on this last Sunday of January. Can you believe? Only 11 months till Christmas. We wish to thank the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to be on their satellite with the satellite that was designed by AMSAT DL. And of course, we also wish to acknowledge AMSAT UK and the BATC for the wonderful work that they do to publish all sorts of excellent information to be able to come onto this wonderful satellite. I see the satellite was mentioned on Tech Minds the other day. So Matt, if you're listening today, you must join us sometime. We're looking forward to having you on. We did have a very quick hello and goodbye on your web page, and very interesting. We knew we can do with the exposure that you can bring to it, indeed. Anyway, today, let me just see if I can pull up this list. Better go to that page, and then we can see who's on. Not many people on today, but all the same, we shall pull it up in a second. There we go. And if you want to join the list to transmit, you go to that participation list. You just click onto that web page, and you should be there. Right, today we have Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray, Benno. Hello, Benno, and going to be interesting to see about the Mini Tuner version 2 with the second USB. That will be interesting. And then hello, Martin, again with the Winter Hill there, G8KOE. We have ZS1 Mike on, and we are also joined by G4FKK. Those are the only guys I have on the list at the moment. And hello to Albert, ON4AAH, always listening on YouTube. Welcome aboard. Nice to see you on as well, as per usual. I just want to go over to the next. Let me just get rid of this one. And then I can get back to the camera. So let me flick that off. Those are the only guys we have on the list at the moment. Just want to go and see if anyone's out on the normal page. We have good day to you, Adam. Sierra Papa 9 Alpha Charlie Quebec. Saw you earlier. And M0DQW. I know you only RX today, Dave. I certainly hope you are going to enjoy watching at least. And then, of course, Benno's not on. He's watching. Hello to you, Benno. I heard some other signals coming up. I don't know who else. Christo Pinar will be on. He's watching, as well as a number of other people. Stuart Clark will be watching later. And, of course, the club members of the ZS4 SRK Club. So those are all the guys I have at present. And Tech Minds. Yeah, M0DQW. It's Matt, that's correct. Hey, Matt, my goodness, you're on. You should pop on and show us your picture. Hello, Brian, G6HFS. Hello, Matt. Welcome from Tech Minds. That's the very guy we were talking about, Matt. We need you on the air, and you must make a nice video of our DATV Sunday net, because that will give us quite a bit of exposure on YouTube for sure. Right, with that, I'm going to pass it to the first guy on, and that will be Benno, to you, sir, in Holland. Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray to take it. No, is it Fox Bravo X-ray? Let me just correct myself here, because it's Fox Bravo X-ray. Yes. Will you please take it, Benno, from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India?
Yeah, let me quickly mute this. Hi Gary, thanks for leading the net. Great job as always, making order in this mess we are hams are normally, creating a big pile of mess. As I see at the moment on the band, it's quite crazy what's happening over there. Someone is really trying their amplifier to blow up or something like that. Well, greetings to everyone in the east, in the west, in the north, in the south, in the morning and in the evening. It's always nice to have this worldwide coverage, and a lot of stations are watching, and well, in the end they need to come online, come on the net, or we are getting a very small group of active hams only, and that's not a good idea as well. We always like to see new faces, so please come on and introduce yourself. You don't have to have a big story, but well, it's always nice to see new faces. For me, new version of DATV Easy installed. Beta testing it at the moment, 2.14 already from Dominic. Have the new. It's really a mess on the band. What's happening over there? Well, DATV Easy 2.12, just a clean install, no problem. Looks very similar. Running the latest FFmpeg pack. You love it or you hate it. It works as predicted, and a new version will come on soon, because new additions will be added as well, as promised by Dominic. The project I was working on last week, people know this already, I've showed this before. Let's see if I go to my shaky cam over here. This is the project I'm working on at the moment. I can put the right system, which is on the left, see my own signal there, and that's my image. So I have a right system here and a ports down here in one cabinet, using a mini tuner for the right. Obviously the ports are also capable in DATV receiving, and I was thinking about putting a second mini tuner in, and then I thought about, I've read somewhere, heard about the idea of a second, let's go back to face cam, the idea of the second transport stream. If I go to my other screen, let's see if that works today. Yes, that works today. This is the schematic diagram of the ports down, of the mini tuner version 2.1. You can buy that from MJW, made for utilities, and I think that is a good idea to use that part. It's using the second transport stream of the tuner, which is original in there, and I just need to connect that. Well, that is something simple to say, and then you start to think, how I'm going to do that. Well, also that is covered already in 2019. Noel published a dual channel output for this Mini Tuner 2 version 2. In fact, it shows the plug here, and so yeah, it's showing the plug over here, and you see a board is put on there. There's even a schematic diagram and a PCB made by MJW, our good friend Mike, who is not on the net today, so I'm stealing his project. So he made a small board. I don't see it available on the BATC though, but it is available. It is made. So somewhere along the line, the Gerber files will be available. But I decided to do this project just on a small Vero board, because it's just a bunch of lines going from there's one NAND port here in the middle, and then it will fit nicely on the board. I'll probably use a small flat cable in between. I already have the FTD chip, which is tremendous expensive. I think 25-30 euros for this board only, but I already have that just because I got one extra in a wrong order previous, so I have it on the shelf. So I will install this, and probably this week, so I will inform you about the results. Giving me the second USB output. The first one is this one, and the second one will be this one, and capable in producing one for the write and one for the miniature, for the ports down. We have the PCBs. Noel is on the line, is online. Well, I knew. But maybe the dual software is never released. No, but using two systems next to each other will solve my problem in a dual system. So maybe I need that PCB from you, Noel, but I'm not going to pay the taxes to get that sorted to Holland. On a piece of Vero board, it will be simple for me. I know when you send something through the BATC shop, I have to pay a lot of duty to get that from the big country of England. Hi. Okay. Well, other ideas, Tom. Okay, that's basically what I wanted to show you. Let's go back to the face cam, and that is the project I'm going to work on next to what I did previously with the mouse and things like that. I'm still building that system. A lot of relays, a lot of wiring is going on, and I just yesterday I drilled. Where is it? Somewhere around here. I drilled the back of my I already lost it. Hi. Well, somewhere along the line there is a piece of metal lying around and covering the back, which has up to 12 or 13 and coax plugs output, because every signal needs to come out somehow. Okay, well, let's see what's going on. I see a lot of developers reacting on my story to use this old information because it works, and I will probably use it because I have the rest already in stock. Microphone back to, on to Martin. Kilo Oscar Echo. From Papa Alpha number 3, Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray. Martin, take it along. Let's see if I have a test card. Yes, I have. Martin, take it along.
Right, I think we're a go. I'll mute the sound there and see if we've got some. Yep, we are a go. I'm having to be a little bit careful. I had been visited. on the bench, or the desk, shall I say. So that's yeah, she's tired. That's Ruby, that is. Anyway, back to what I was going to discuss. Really, the Winter Hill, which I've had for some time, and not really made the best use of it, I don't think. I've had various receivers, all running at the same time, flipping between which one seems to decode quicker than the other one. But what I've ended up doing at the moment, if we go over to that shot, there's two of the windows from the which are obviously movable and controllable by this little device down here. So I've got two windows that I can instantly go on, lock on. There you go. And whilst I'm talking about that, a quick tune. I suddenly found there'd been this update by this Tom character who seems to keep sneaking in updates, and I don't realise they're there. Which is the chat, which probably everybody knows about, but this appeared, which I think is great because it automatically scrolls up. The only thing from me I'd like, as I've got it on a big monitor and my eyes are a little bit tired, it'd be nice if I could actually increase the size of the unit. But it's absolutely superb because there was a problem. It would never scroll up when someone put something else in. But that's a go there. Whilst I'm on this page, the other thing that I did download was, hi Martin, yeah, it's on the next version. Great. That's what I like. And it worked. I was able to see it. But my eyes aren't as good. The other thing which I did download, I've been using the JTT, this version, but the previous version was just a single window, which I must admit, for what I wanted to do, it seemed to be more convenient, shall we say. So it enables me to stream and monitor whether the stream's actually working, which I've just started the stream, which it is going to work. So I'm now streaming on the BATC at the same time. So hopefully that's a work. So that's my one monitor that's on the PC. If we go over to the other one, which there we go. I've got the fourth window is now looking at the output. So that's for my receiver as such. So I can see what's actually going. The third of the windows is this one down here, which monitors the input. So I have that set up, which I used the commander, which I didn't actually demonstrate on the other side, did I? For those that let's quickly whip back to the other side. I've got this program, which a little help from Brian. I understood a bit more how to set it up. I have two things set up on 3 and 4. One which has been the input and one which is the output. So I can actually send those straight to the appropriate windows. So the commander little program has come into its own. I didn't fully understand, but now we're sort of getting there. The penny is beginning to drop. So let's go back to the other screen. Get rid of that. So yeah, monitor the input, the output. Also using the other one, which is this one. I'm monitoring the stream. I'll put that back on the other window. The other thing which I do like a lot, which I know I said to Tom, it'd be nice to have a display. This looks at the output audio from the whatever receiver you want to use. It's got a nice little pull down menu that you can point it to wherever you like. So you could point it to the OBS, etc. But at the moment, that one sits on the output. So hopefully, if the needles aren't moving up and down, then I know I've got no audio. That's the idea of it. Whether I always look, and probably the other thing that I'm using, which is probably the biggest improvement, was on the audio side. on using a VB audio cable. That seems very stable and still seems stable. Anybody that's not been using it, I would sort of say go and install it. You can install it on 27, don't have to go to 29. I'm running 29, the latest version of OBS, just because I like punishment, I think. It's got some improvements. I think someone else commented last week. As opposed to using that mode where you've got two windows, which I found it's so easy to forget which window you update the preview one as such. So I always run it just looking at the output as such in that mode. And the other thing I do on all the scenes that I've got, I've added a microphone. So it's a reference to the first entry. I'll make sure they're all on. So as I switch between different things, hopefully the microphone will stay, and including going to the webcam. But let's go back where we were. A couple of other things that 29's got in the filters. It's got a 3-band sort of graphic, etc. High, medium, and low, which can be useful. And it's also got a noise reduction filter on the microphone. I have somebody that's paying great attention to what I'm doing now. Yeah, it's got a I don't know if I can show the filters, but it's got a noise suppression filter, which is the RNN noise use a bit more CPU usage, but I find it in the microphone setup that I've got, which is using the Blue Yeti, which tends to pick up a little bit of a hum noise from the fans and things, and that just removes it. So I use that. Obviously, not showing the right screen there, which is typical. Right, we've opened it up. It's got the noise suppression, which I find useful. I find that very good, and a 3-band graphic, which I've just boosted the high a little bit because I've got sort of a very bassy, rumbly sort of voice, not very good for communication at all. So that's probably so many windows open, makes your eyes go off funny. Let's go back to something simple. But that's what I'm doing. That's the way I'm operating the system. I find it works for me. Everybody has their own individual ideas, which is great. It keeps things coming there, Tom. I'm not on social media, so I miss when little updates are done, but I do keep checking things as best I can. And fantastic. That's all I can say. Thank you. Right, it's Leon, I think, takes it next. Zulu Sierra 1 Mike. So I stick up a test card so I know I've finished talking, and then I'll drop carrier from Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo.
I forgot to switch on the amplifier. Okay, hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We miss our Eastern friends. We haven't seen them for quite some time. I was actually listening and watching the video that I made of Saru when he helped me install the stuff on one of my other computers. The whole installation business, he does it so quickly and efficiently. Anyway, okay, right, I'll get to my stuff just now. Benno, yeah, your dual mini tune project thing, that's very interesting. You know, I haven't been to the BATC website for quite a while. They've got so much information there. It's really, it's fantastic. I just download the magazine, and I don't always even get the time to read it, but I must make sure that I don't miss one. It's extremely valuable information. somebody in Cape Town phoned me the other day, and they want to come out because I think it's about a year ago I did the presentation at our local club, not in this town but in Stellenbosch, which is closer to Cape Town. But yeah, they looked very excited and so on, and then for a year I didn't hear a thing, no interest whatsoever. But seems like they're finally waking up. So yeah. Okay, and Martin, yes, you've got so many displays going there. My goodness, I've lost you long ago. I'm happy with just one, and I want it as big as possible. Not with lots of little windows. My thing is resolution. That's what I want. I want to see every little thing in your shack and hear your fans. Anyway, okay, right. My project. Okay, I've built a 2-stage charging system for my new UPS batteries, which they replaced under guarantee because they only lasted 3 months. I charged them according to the voltage ratings on the batteries, the 100 amp hour gel batteries, 2 of them in series, and they lasted not 3 months. Okay. So I thought, their spec is a bit high. So this time I made measurements. When a lead acid battery or a gel battery is fully charged, it should stop drawing current. If it's still drawing current, your charging voltage is too high. And at their specified float voltage, it is still drawing lots of current. So I've made this thing to the first stage, it takes it up to 26 volts, and there it'll stop and it'll wait until the thing goes down to about 10 milliamps. Then it's full, it's floating, it's happy. It won't gas away all its moisture. Then if you use it, if we have load shedding, now I'm using the UPS and the battery voltage goes down to say 12 volts or so. When the mains comes back on, it goes into boost mode. It looks at the internal resistance of the battery, and if it's below or well, with a set voltage, it draws more current, initial current, then it bumps it up to 27 volts, and it'll sit at 27 until it's down to under roughly about 1.8 amps. Then it'll go back to the float stage and it'll do the last bit on that. So that's working very nicely. So I made a little Arduino logger that monitors the battery voltage and timestamps it and writes it to a SD card. Very simple. But now I notice that it's wandering. It's as if there's hum on my system. I can't believe it. When I put it on a monitor battery, it's dead stable. Put a meter on it, 24.2 volts. The logger says 24.2 volts. One mistake I made is I programmed it to sample it every second. I've now changed it to every minute because really the file was huge over the last 24 hours. Well, the memory card ran full. It's not a big one. I think it's only a 2 gig card or something. But anyway, so that is the thing that I'm fiddling with at the moment. The charger came out very nicely. I'm happy with what it's doing. It switches at the right times and it floats nicely and it boosts nicely and it does everything I want it to do. Right, then unfortunately Dave M5TXJ is not on today. I missed to answer him. I was talking about the gliding competition that we're having here at the moment, the international gliding competition. Well, it ended yesterday. And he said that he also used to do a bit of gliding and with a twin Aster and so on. Yeah, they have a twin Aster down here at the club as well. The club's own gliders, I think there's 21 of them. And then there's a whole lot of private hangars as well. I think there's about 100 hangars that we have down at the airfield now. Not all of them gliders, but a lot of them are for gliders and so on. Anyway, so I was down there this morning. I fitted a speaker amplifier into one of the radios for one of the guys. He says no, the radio's own volume is just not enough, you know. They glide like at 220 kilometers per hour and so on, and then the wind noise is so much, and the gliding pilots don't use headsets. It's too hot. They don't want headsets, so they use boom mics and loudspeakers. But they need good volume. So I installed this little amplifier for me. It's a Class D, very small, 20 watt amplifier, and he's very happy. So I said to him, well, go and fly it and tell me, you know, give me feedback and see what you think of it, and is it doing what you want it to do. But then he told me, you know, he said to me, have you heard about the accident? I said, no. He said, well, during the week, one of the overseas guys, I don't know whether it was one of the German guys or one of the American guys, crashed into the mountain here with a glider. And he actually won the competition because he was flying so well. He scored so many points that even though he was out of the race for the rest of the week, I don't know which day it happened, whether it was Wednesday or Thursday. Well, anyway, they cancel some of the days when there's no lift, when it's like dead weather. The glider, if you look at the glider, I don't know, you people, not everybody's into airplanes, but on a glider you sit in front of the wing. Now that glider, everything in front of the wing is gone. That's where the pilot was, and where all the instruments and everything, and there's not a shred of glass fiber left in front of the wing. And the guy is alive. He only broke one of his vertebrae. I thought his legs would have been amputated. No damage to his legs. So they only had to put a pin in one of his vertebrae. So he's in hospital at the moment. But even being there and having crashed, he won the competition. So he's an excellent flyer. But yes, he just got too close to the mountain by the looks of it. And one of the wingtips touched. And then of course you spin in, and all sorts of effects. I don't know. It's so fresh, the news, that it's not even in the news yet. I haven't seen anything on the TV or whatever. Okay, that's it from me. So I give it to Martin G4FKK for the group from ZS1 Mike in Worcester, where it's not so hot today. Yesterday we actually had a little bit of rain. Take it, Martin.
Yeah, thanks, Leon. ZS1 Mike. G4FKK returning. Excellent. Well, I'm glad the pilot's still alive, and that he won the competition. That's a good thing for him, isn't it? Must have cheered him up in his hospital bed. And anyway, very good afternoon, morning, evening to everyone who's watching and listening. Some cracking pictures on today. I'm afraid mine is not one of them, and I blame Martin for this entirely. I thought this morning, Martin, I'll update. I must get on to this new version of OBS, and I thought I quite fancied trying NVIDIA Broadcast. So the first thing I had to do was update the drivers of my NVIDIA card, which it didn't want to do. It didn't so I had to do it all manually. It wouldn't do it automatically. So I eventually got that done, and so I thought, well, I'll load NVIDIA Broadcast now, and it told me my card wasn't compatible. So so I thought, well, everything's working with all the old software, so I'll just keep it like this for a while. I've got a GTX 1660 card, Martin, and it says I need an RTX something or other, so I don't think I'm going to invest in that just yet. So you'll have to put up with this rather foggy picture. But anyway, everyone else is looking good. I'd like to say afternoon to Matt. You might not remember this, Matt. We had a couple of chats on 4 meters, and I've not heard you there lately. But clearly you're developing your DATV system, which is a jolly good thing too. if you want to test things on 4 meters, I can do DATV on 4 meters. I can't quite remember whereabouts you are, but I seem to remember you're a big signal on 4 meters. So to give that a try one day. Hi to Adam as well, and Dave. Oh, Leon, Dave TXJ is watching and listening, so he'd have heard your answer. Yeah, Gary, thanks for reminding us there's 11 months till Christmas. It is amazing how tempus fugit, isn't it? Benno, yeah, very interested in the Mini Tune second transport stream. You'd have to remind me what edition of CQTV that was in. It's a rather glorious picture of Noel I saw there, and good afternoon to Noel as well, who's watching. The boards are available, apparently. Well, presumably you have to contact Noel directly. And hi Tom as well. I saw you testing earlier, Tom, so I kind of thought you might be on this afternoon. I hope you're well, using your Winter Hill software here as usual. And yeah, Martin, I remember you telling me a couple of years ago probably, when I got my Winter Hill, you said, "Oh, I don't need that. Who needs 4 pictures at the same time?" And then now you've got about 400. Very good. Your cat, by the way, we have a cat here with the biggest tail I've ever seen on a cat, but yours is very close. And our cat's only tiny. Your cat looked quite small with this enormous tail, so must be crossed with a squirrel somewhere, I guess. Oh, Tom says he'll be back next week. Excellent. Busy on the roof. So running up and down. Oh, I hope presumably you're putting great big aerials on the roof, Tom. That'd be good. Leon, that UPS charger sounds very good. Yeah, I've got it's a commercially available intelligent charger for my my MGB car. Can't remember what it's called now, but it went wrong. So it has boiled the battery, which is extremely annoying. But I was really glad to hear you got your batteries replaced under warranty, because at one point you didn't seem sure that you were going to get that. Oh, lightning here in not here in South Africa. So yeah, be careful, Gary. Right, what else was there? I did make some notes. Oh yeah, I was just going to say, Leon, perhaps you should keep on sampling every second, and but average it out and just issue the report every minute. Might give you a more smoothed out picture of what's happening. Don't know. Right, well, that's enough waffle from me. I checked on the list and I see we have Brian next, G6HFS. I'm not sure. I think I may have worked you once on television, Brian, but I'm not sure. So it'll be good to catch up. So I shall put it round to you, and after you it's Peter, GW7BZY. So that'll be good as well. So round to you, Brian. G6HFS and the worldwide net, G4 Fox King standing by.
G6HFS. Have I audio? Yep, okay, well, we'll mute that. Yeah, good afternoon all. It's my first venture into these frequencies. I've been licensed since 81. Was responsible for the local 23 cents repeater here and turning it from analog to digital. But my first venture up on these frequencies. Bit of a lash up today, amplifier sitting on the bench in front of me and a bit of LDF 450 running up to the potty on the dish. So just testing and experiments today. Not ventured into the realms of H265 yet, still playing with a 264. That's about me really. As I say, I have been playing with TV for a number of years on the lower bands, but decided to venture up here. So I hope everything's alright, and perhaps when I hand it round to Peter, he can give me a quick report. That would be very useful. I'm monitoring myself on the little ride, so it seems to be giving pictures okay. Anyway, I'll only do it the once, because I have noticed the only thing that I've found after alignment, the potty is a bit high on SWR, it's just over 2, which I suppose is okay, but we like to get it down a bit to keep the amplifier perhaps a bit more happy. Anyway, I'll hand it round to Peter. GW.
All right then. What I've lost somewhere is the remote control to the monitor. Somewhere. Which I the remote control to the monitor. There we are, which I found, and being able to turn off the sound. Otherwise it'll drive me crazy and everyone else too. Yeah, excellent stuff. Good to see you there, G6HFS, whose name I've forgotten now. Yeah, first time on, pretty good. Excellent first effort. And H264 is obviously doing you okay. Although H265 needs a card really to get the best out of it. I don't think you can do it in software. And not with the CPU anyway. As for the PA balanced on the bench, mine is still balanced on the bench, almost hanging from its from the F250, 350 or 450, I think. So and 2 power supplies with a long piece of wire between 2 of them to make enough amps to balance them out. It works. Just one, if it was too short, it just kind of snatched one to the other and bounced around a bit, and it didn't work well. I'm sure there's a far more sophisticated way of doing it, but I put a length of wire on it, which is a little too thin really, and that seems to work nicely, and I get a steady voltage, and it's not complained since. Yes, interesting to see Benno. I was going to say to Benno, I think you take part in some of the writing of DATV Easy. I might have misunderstood that, but it would be handy as a facility that we could change the group of pictures, the GOP, etc. Because that's quite fun to play with the encoder. And if you get a good signal in, you're not getting very many dropouts, and then obviously most of the time we don't have lots of cuts and change of scene, so a longer group of pictures would be beneficial. And of course, if you're sending other material which has a lot of cuts and changes in scene, then maybe a shorter or something that was automatically detected the type of video you were sending. That would be probably even better, but it would be fun to be able to work it and adjust it for oneself. Yeah, thanks to Benno last time for sorting out my DATV Easy stroke Pluto woes, and it's been working faultlessly ever since. Thank you very much for your help. Of course, I want to update now to the latest version, but it tells me Pluto hasn't got enough room to put it in, so I don't know what's happened there. Leon battery backup. Something I'm going to have to think about, I think. We've not really had any problem with the power supply in this country, and not for some time. I remember when I was a child, we had national strikes, and the power went off, and if this would be a long time ago, I'm sure there's quite a lot of people on that of my age that can remember the power going off and the candles and everything, and maybe something that may come back again. So perhaps a UPS would be a useful thing. G4FFK, I thought them MGBs had a cranking slot in them in the front there, you know what I mean, and you could just wind it up if the battery went flat. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe you can tell me. What else? OBS. My continue down on OBS. So I put OBS on, and I got it working. I thought, yeah, this is okay. The picture looked, I don't know, the encoding wasn't as nice, and I don't know why that should be. But then I had a look round, and on OBS you've got a little facility where you can have your data, a report, shall I say, and it was showing was dropping lots and lots of frames, and you know, you could see it, and it was terrible. It was dropping like 40 and 80, and it was climbing and climbing. And then I went to yes, it is. Yes, I might play that later. No, I won't. Wonderful World, one of my favourite tunes, Louis Armstrong. Music by George Welsh and Weiss and Bob Fell, I think. But yeah, one of my favourite tunes. What was it? And I've completely, yes, OBS, and it was dropping a lot of frames, so I went back to vMix, and it's not dropping anything. That has a report as well, and that's showing no frames dropped. Not 2.1 milliseconds. It's telling me that it was what it was rendering in, and that was enough for it to drop thousands of frames. Whereas vMix has dropped 0 frames. So you know, another reason to avoid OBS. I mean, if you look at that report, maybe you'll find out why your picture looks grotty is because it's dropping frames. It can't be very efficient programs, what I'm thinking. It's obviously taxing the CPU quite a bit because although I'm not running a low-powered graphics card or particularly low-powered CPU, so for it to drop that many frames, you know, it's not very good. So those people with lesser PCs must be having a bad time of it. So there we are. And the other big thing I've done in the shack is I put over me lamp, which is an angle poised lamp, I put a bit of tape and a square of paper over the bulb itself, so it points at me. So rather than the glare from the bulb, I'm only getting the reflected light from the surround. So well, I think they call it a beauty dish, but in my case, I think it's not quite as good as that. What else? Not a lot. The dual USB thing, that sounds exciting, I've got to say. I've got the one receiver. I like this Longmind. I'm not quite understanding, can I run the Longmind software? I don't know what it'd do for me either. I don't quite understand what it's going to do for me, whether I went up from Ride to Longmind. Is it Longmind just the software you put into the Pi? Maybe somebody will come back and tell me about it. I'm sure I could read about it on the wiki, I know, but I like, you know, I'm not that interested, but if I hear that it sounds good, then I might go to the trouble of finding out. But as it is, you know, the Ride works adequately, and I can only see one station at a time, which, okay, it would be nice to see 2, but you know, it chops about and changes. So I'm where I think where Martin was previously when he says one's enough. So at the moment, I have the PCB and a receiver Yoki for the advanced receiver, which I've not built because the parts were too expensive and some were quite difficult to get unless I bought thousands of them, which I didn't really want to do. So that hasn't happened either, and that's why I bought the Pi, really. With that, I think I don't know who's next. I think it goes back to Gary. Good picture from you today, Gary. I think you're oh yeah, has anybody noticed the eyes, my eyes? They're synthetic eyes I've got now. They're digitally enhanced, and they're designed to look at the lens. So I'm speaking to you rather than wandering around looking at me bits of paper and monitors and things. So I don't know if that's working. Somebody can. I think Gary said it looked quite natural. I wonder if anyone's noticed it. That's another. I'm sorry that your graphics card, Martin, was. Yeah, it is Martin, G4KF, FFK, isn't it? Too old-fashioned, but yeah. So we're all got, I mean, I need a new graphics card because I want to get into AV1. I wonder if the new version of DATV Easy will include AV1. That would be interesting. Something else, another request, although I haven't got a graphics card that can do that yet. With that, I hand it back from GW7BZY. Where's my vMix?
Anyway, all good, all good. And a very interesting net. And yeah, Benno, that was very interesting. And the comments that followed on the DATV, on the BATC site, batc.org. There's been quite a lot there. And I just want to say hi to the following guys also watching. Ishmael is watching. And then DL7 Tango Juliet's watching. And of course, Sandor, my dear friend Sandor, DM4DS. The satellite was hardly in the air and we were already having QSOs. We've been friends for a long time thanks to the satellite. And then Adam's on, Sierra Papa 9 Alpha Charlie Quebec. Adam, you must join us because you put through a good signal. I was watching you testing just before the net started and also last week. So there we go. Brian, G6HFS, welcome aboard. Wonderful to have you with us. And for the first go, it's excellent. The quality is very, very good indeed. And Martin, coming back to your complaint about quality, I don't know what you're complaining about. As I said some years back, you suddenly aged 10 years when you switched on your camera. And I see the other Martin, King of England, mentioned that to me today. So that's the way things go. I'm waiting for a new lens to arrive. Now, these guys annoy you. You pay, and then you got to wait a week, even though it's in their bank immediately. And so hopefully next week, this time I can try the new lens. I'm on a 50. Sorry, I've got terrible asthma this time of the year. I've got a 50mm lens at the moment. But I'm going to go to a 35mm, then I can get a bit closer to this bench, sitting a bit far away. Anyway, be that as it may. But yeah, Ismail is Delta Lima 2 India Echo. And then there's, of course, Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey. He's the old Matt from Tech Minds. He says he's going to hopefully try next week and join us. I really hope that happens. And then other comments. Yeah, I'll try next week. That's good. Tom, of course, is listening. Tom, you must never play with antennas when there's lightning. We only live a couple of kilos apart, so it's not wise to be on the roof. And the guy that works with or works for Tom, he fell off a ladder. I think only about maybe a meter, and he broke his ankle. So he's out of action. That's Romeo, ZR6, is it RB? So anyway, it just shows you what can happen. You just slip or lightning clops you. Hello to you, Nigel, 2 Echo 0 Echo Hotel. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. It's time you come back up. And then Dave made a comment there. 7th generation OBS 29 runs about 6% CPU, which is fine. I'm using OBS and the picture seems okay. And yeah, Martin, that's Martin FKK. Our Martin King of England persuaded me to go and download this, which I did. It just didn't pick up the camera, but it did take my audio, so it messed me around a bit. And never ever do updates or play around just before the worldwide net. But so I canned everything. I didn't take it off. It's all there, but after this, I'll quickly play around. and see if we can get the camera through it. Just didn't want to pick up the camera. I don't know why. And then I can play with the shifty eye thing. That's quite interesting. What was mentioned by Peter is it follows your eye, or it looks as though you're looking at the camera all the time. Now you'll see me looking down, for example, at my little phone, trying to read some of the comments, and then your eyes dip. Now with Peter's little dingamalong on the on NVIDIA broadcaster, his eyes stay seemingly focused onto the lens. It's fantastic, and it worked. We tried it this morning. And anyway, hello Graham in Sheffield, Golf 3 Yankee Radio, Yankee Juliet Radio, Golf 3 Yankee Juliet Radio. Graham in Sheffield, he's on, saying hi to everybody on frequency. Nice to have you, Graham. Hopefully we'll see you on the net one of these good days. And hello, Joachim, Delta Bravo 8 X-Ray Oscar. And I'm sure Gunther was also on. Hello, Gunther. Nice to have you on as usual. You come up quite often. Delta 8 Golf Whiskey. And nice to have you on frequency there, Gunther, as well. So I think I've welcomed everyone that's listening and watching and so forth. Yeah, nice net. Yeah, Leon, coming back to you, that's a very interesting charger, that, because I had an issue, I think I told you last week, with my 2-cell batteries, so I changed them with some real heavy-duty, old-fashioned lead acid, but now they are sealed, and it's a Willard's battery, and one of, or two of them, and the chap said to me he bought two years ago, and they lasted 2 years to the day virtually, and he had to replace them just after the guarantee fell out. So I hope that's not going to be the case, because these gel batteries lasted about 5 years, but it was only when I really had to torque the generator, or when the generator torqued itself, that it lost its charge, and that was the end of the batteries. Anyway, that's an interesting thing. Guys, we have a lot of load shedding here now in South Africa. Sometimes up to 6 hours a day. They were even threatening 8, load shedding 8. But mostly we have about 4 hours that we don't have juice, which is a problem. Right, normally I just have a big generator that kicks in. But you know what happens? Sod's law, like last weekend, the generator packed up and we had load shedding. So that just nailed home the need for some solar panels as a backup to the backup. Anyway, that's life in Africa these days. We can go on and on about that. And the worst thing is I've got a whole bunch of Australians landing in half an hour at Johannesburg International. I just looked on Flight Radar 24. They're coming to our plant. We're busy with a huge expansion. And there's about 6 or 7 of them arriving, and I'm going to be highly embarrassed if we have outages while they're spending valuable time here assisting with the upgrade. So that's part of the thing. Righto, let's just see if there's anyone else on the list. I don't think so. Frank's on. Frank, do you want to take it? ZS6 Golf Echo, good afternoon to you. And then will you pass it all the way up to Benno, Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray? So ZS6 Golf Echo to take it from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Yes, good afternoon. I have problems here. We have a thunderstorm with heavy rain, and I lost the signal. It dropped by up to 5 dBs, so I couldn't decode anymore. I could get Gary's tail end, luckily, but it started with Peter. Halfway through I lost him. So anyway, That's just for that. But it's still 30 degrees here in the shack, so I'm sweating somewhat. Nothing much to do here. I'm trying to decode the multi-mode beacon on the narrowband section, and Tom is helping me with the problem. I cannot decode it. I get too many errors, and it behaves funny. The constellation is good for a few seconds, then it collapses, then it comes back again, and it's good for a while, then it collapses, and I think when it collapses it loses the information. But anyway, if somebody else had a similar experience, I would like to know about it. And yeah, I'm just looking at the signal. Yeah, it's good. I think I'm back to normal, so I should be able to carry on watching and listening. Benno, you take it from ZS6 Golf Echo.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Let me put it on mute. Luckily, I have Frank, my remote control, for doing that, Peter. And yes, your eyes looked in the camera. Sometimes I thought, what are you doing with your eyes? Because you're sometimes a little bit in a strange position, looking down, and then over your glasses you're still looking at the screen and things like that. If it's completely naturally, I don't think so, but it works pretty nice. Better than I do, because I typically look around and forgot to look in the camera at all. I even thought about moving the camera way out of to the right or to the left from an angle to see, but then everyone sees my mess. Even my cupboard at the moment is open, so that's already a mess. Hi. Well, anyway, great net so far. I need to look at the BATC forum. I got a few comments on reactions on my post from Saturday evening. I haven't read them all. See already there's some problems coming on when I just overlooked it quickly. So let's see what's going on there. I will try it, and I will come back with the problems, and then maybe we get it sorted out somehow. In the end, I want basically two systems next to each other running on the same mini tuner, and I don't want to put another mini tuner in for cost and room space reasons. Okay, well, and I don't want to put another Raspberry in as well. Tom, before you talk about that, Longmind is doing great for a PC, and I'm using it, as you know, but I don't want it to have in this box. Okay, well, that's basically all for now. Peter, as you see, I found the box in the top, just over here. I found which is the output of my OBS. As you see, no frames missed, 0% missed, 0% frames dropped. So I think you had something wrong in your settings, and I never say DATV easy gives you a perfect image, because I know the guys who are really into FFmpeg are capable in doing better jobs there. FFmpeg needs a lot of modification, and a lot of possibilities are to get your image and even your video perfect. But I would say it's easy to use, as it will give you a decent picture, and the picture is it's quite easy to set up, and you hardly ever get dropouts, and so it's a kind of preserved setting to work in all cases. And I think even Dominic there is doing a lot of job, because I know he's also working on 25K as kilobits and kilosamples, I should say, even working there, and I believe he's doing a great job in testing and perfecting everything with all the settings, and I know they are kind of preserved, so if you use that, it should work. And that's basically what it makes it easy for us guys, not having to test everything, needing to test everything in order to get it working. So no drops here. For Leon, nice job on your charger. I always thought about that. Chargers, well, a lot of nice guys make beautiful chargers, and then they need to be going into production, and it can't be that it works always all the time, and I hear you get a very bad result. I understand if you are into the knowledge of that, of charging a battery. I've done quite a bit of electric flying and charging there, and I know there are a lot of problems with chargers on flying electric, and that is charging a LiPo is kind of a story of its own. Flying, I see Longmind was the gliding club. I reckon that's a normal glider, really gliding, full-size gliders, not a model gliding club. But nice to know that, Dave. Well, nice to see Barrels from Finland. See that he's trying to get on the satellite. Well, looking forward to that from Finland. I had only ASCO so far on the net, and it's always nice to see from that angle, way on the top of the Earth, in the far north, getting the signals onto the satellite. It's fun, it's nice, and hope to see you soon, Bars. If you need any assistance, please ask. I saw Nigel also watching the net. Nigel, I hope you're well. I hope you get your things sorted. I'm still thinking about your problem on getting your Pluto onto the network. Want to test that for the group. I have, Nigel has a Raspberry, and I'm working currently with 2 Plutos connected to a Raspberry to have it networked. So I'm not using a network dongle, but I have 2 Plutos connected to one Raspberry, and the Raspberry is using port forwarding to get it on my network. So I'm capable using both Plutos in the same go, using the Raspberry also for Longmind, and using the Raspberry also for monitoring and controlling my amplifier. So this Raspberry is doing a nice job. And I thought about that on the Longmind. People have the Longmind already working with a Raspberry in there. Why not putting some port forwarding lines there, and using the USB ports of the Raspberry in the Winterhill to connect to your Pluto, and then use the port forwarding from that Raspberry. That saves network ports, saves devices, and in the end gives you a better quality, because I know from Tom and from my own experience, it runs very smooth if you're using the network capabilities of a Raspberry for port forwarding to a Pluto. Well, that's all. Thinking about doing that, still want to do that, but it's only a time issue at this point. I'm too much projects running at the moment, and I love helping out people, but I also need to do some more along the line. My own job in drilling all these holes. This is the back of my, well, it should be this way. This is the back of my 19-inch rack, and you see it has 2 plugs already, and it has the holes for the additional outputs, and this is for driving extra amplifiers capable in amplifying the signals for instance 6 centimeters and 9 centimeters, or other ideas going onto the satellite. This is a cooling fan. A cooling block will be on here for all the amplifiers inside. It will produce 10 watts on the various band from 10 meter up to 13 centimeters. And after that, 6 centimeters and 3 centimeters and 9 centimeters will go onto the separate plugs directly. So I'm capable in doing something else with that in the future. Well, that's all for now. Frank, I hope you have seen the image, and let's move on. I think to Martin. Your cat was lying on there. My dog didn't want to get on my desk. He stayed on the screened banana plugs. I don't know. Screened banana plugs. That's for the 10 meter and 6 meters. I think still the banana plug still works for 6 meters and 10 meters. For 2 meters and up is being and obviously. They are lying on my desk here, which will be for that. Microphone on to Martin. Kilo Oscar Echo. No, yeah, was it? Yes. From Papa Alpha number 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray. Martin, take it along, because before I get too much other comments. Hi.
Right, thank you there, Benno. I didn't comment on all that you were doing, but right, let's kill the sound so we don't get any feedback. Yes, my cat's still, probably because she got me up at about 4 o'clock this morning because she wanted to go out. But, yeah, she's still on the bench. Right, let's see if I can remember to answer those queries. What I will say that, Benno, I got confused when trying to network the Pluto using the Pi. Must admit I was trying to use an older Pi just to prove that it worked before doing things. But maybe I'll have to pluck up the courage and stick it on the long wind that I've got. Just saw Dave made a comment on things. Yeah, Peter was on about the long wind client. It's where am I going? Oh, yeah. That's it. That's what it looks like. Looks very busy. It's getting terribly busy. Move across there, but that's it. So it's quite a good little bit of software. I did use it. I must admit I did comparisons between the various receivers on which one locked up quicker, and let's get rid of that. I must admit they all seem to be similar sort of amounts from the Mini Tuner 2 that Pro 2 that I've got. Although some used to struggle on some signals, but yeah, you always get a signal that one receiver won't like and the other one will, etc. I think. That's it. Gary, with regards to the camera, you probably had OBS still running. So the OBS had got the camera selected. I think if you close OBS down, you'll probably find it'll appear in the broadcast. Then open OBS up and select a new input as the broadcast. Yeah, I saw the little things scroll up. The cat's on the move, I think. No, maybe not. Yeah, I would close OBS, and you'll probably find it. You'll find it in there. Then you'll have to just make another input or change the input camera input on OBS. OBS with me, 0 frames dropped. It says CPU usage is 0.5%. It says, so that's what it's sitting at the moment. Graphics card, this is for Martin's benefit, FKK, is a 3060 Ti, an RTX 3060 Ti. So that's what's running. And I go to, this is the laptop being streamed across on UPS, UPD rather, stream. That's got a 3060, an RTX 3060 in it. So we did splash out on a bit of money because I don't tend to go anywhere much other than it's all done on the PC, which is why I ended up with 2 good monitors, 4K monitors, etc., to put everything on. But yeah, I'm sort of over the moon. Whether I ever get to go out portable, I don't know. But I can use the laptop, which I must admit I can also hook the receiver up, etc. It's a 16-inch screen on it, another going high res screen, or fairly high. So we spent the money in that direction. So as if ever needed, I could sit in the armchair and operate as we're getting old. Was there anything else? Oh, your batteries. Used to work at a boarding school. I didn't do the maintenance of the electrical side. I did the maintenance of the water side of things. And we had a lot of backup emergency lighting, which used the dry fit batteries. And they were this typical little box with a couple of lamps on, or exit signs or whatever. And they used to get through dry fit batteries like they were going out of fashion. Every time you did a test, they never lasted the length of the test. So the school must have spent an absolute fortune on batteries. I used to get some of the non-working ones that still had a fair bit of life in them. But there you go. What else? It says looking down. Yeah, I'm running the thing on my eyes. Whether it's working on my eyes, I don't know. But I stuck it on, the filter, just for the fun of it. I think that's probably been all. Yeah, people's signals are great. And I can't remember was it, who came on first? Yeah, Brian. Yeah, those pictures, cracking, absolutely. And fine on running 23/7 repeater. Yeah, I used to run Brighton repeaters and the 23/7 repeater down there, going back. Yeah, know what it takes to keep them going. But yeah, your pictures, absolutely cracking. I was fine with that good when I first came on. Right, it's who did it go to next? He says, it's Leon, isn't it? And I know nothing about gliders at all. Yeah, I sort of look at pictures on the TV, height, and the stomach turns over. I can't take heights at all. Yeah, I've only been once up in a little aircraft, and that was at Tangmere Aerodrome, the last Battle of Britain that they had there. I can't think what it was, but I can remember this little aircraft as we went along the grass. It seemed to be very rough, and and suddenly you took off and it was all smooth, and you could look at little cows and things. As a kid, that's all I remember. That's quite limited amount of flying in anything small. Apart from that, it's just been the odd holiday trip. Right, round to Leon. I'll stick up a test card, and I know I've finished from G8KOE.
Okay. G8KOE in the group. There is one mic returning. Yes, I think I should also make this my final. Yeah, Benno. Yes, I agree with you. I think Peter has some other computer ailment there, because I've run OBS on various computers. I mean, the one I'm transmitting with now is a very fast, high-performance computer, but I have it installed on an old i5. Runs beautifully there. I have it. My first transmit computer was a laptop. I still have it. It's an old HP laptop. No problems whatsoever. So I don't know what you're doing, Peter, unless you're using a 386 or something. Why you have to use vMix not to get frame drops? No, man. There must be something else very, very strange. But anyway, it works. What you're using now, that vMix, your picture's good. And you have lovely lighting. It's a really nice, soft, real portrait style lighting you have there now, Peter. Very nice. Okay, Martin, yes. Well, you've got everything going there, all the bells and whistles there. G8KOE. I don't think you can really improve. Just turn back the noise cancelling a little bit. I want to hear a little bit of a fan or a something, you know. Right, G4FKK, the cat's tail. My cat's rather small. It's not a big cat. It's 7 years old now, I think. But it's got a very thin tail, not bushy at all. It's just one of those types of cats. She's outside at the moment, enjoying the coolish weather, the wind, because it was so hot here. Right, Brian, very, very nice picture. Now here, I want everybody to please listen very carefully. I cannot see the difference between H.264 and H.265. What is the difference? I've read up about it and I've seen it amongst all my camera literature. The 264 takes up a bit more bandwidth to get the same data throughput, whereas the 265 is a bit more efficient compression. But the end result, I can't see the difference unless you're running on some marginal pipeline or something that you have to squeeze it harder. I don't know, Gary. We'll have to really make a nice control test on this at some stage, you know. We put on that resolution box of mine and run some 264 and then run some 265, because we can select it here and see what the difference is. Because often I see people, gee whiz, but this guy's got a fantastic picture. Then I see, but he's running 264. So yeah, I don't know. But Brian, a very nice signal, good audio, everything. Well done. Okay, Peter, yeah, I've commented on your nice soft lighting. I didn't pick up well, what I did see is that your picture on your eyes looked sharper, because your picture is normally reasonably softish because you've got that beautifying button selected in your camera. Which definitely softens everything and robs you of a bit of detail. But your eyes looked nice and sharp today. That's all I could say. Okay, right. And Frank, yes, well, your audio is super, because I could clearly hear the thunder there. It's actually quite funny that Gary is still on, because he quickly runs for the plugs and things. Okay, that's about it from me. I once was on my way to a friend of mine down at the southern tip of Africa, and all of a sudden my 2-meter set in the car started making funny noises, and it wasn't even switched on. So I stopped and I said, this thing was going, oh, it was complaining about over voltage. And I thought I smelled something fumy, hotty, you know, and I opened the bonnet. Oh yeah, the battery was like bloated. So I just cut off the alternator lead and I carried on driving. So yes, the voltage regulator in the alternator went. Anyway, so that evening I came back because it's a 30k trip, and I just removed one of the headlight bulbs just to conserve battery power so that I could make it back to my hometown, because this car's got an electric fuel pump, so if you run out of electricity, the engine's going to stop with no alternator. But I made it quite easily. Even with this bloated battery, it was still giving good power, but I replaced it anyway just to be safe. Okay, I think that's about it. Yeah, the gliding story. Yes, now there's a lot of gliding activity here during the year, but they've just finished this international competition, and yeah, this one guy. Well, a couple of months ago, were also in a competition. I think one of the guys got killed. He was also a visitor. And that was a motorized, one of those where you can press a button and the little engine comes out, you know. And this guy was losing height. He dropped out of the thermal, and nobody can understand why didn't he start the engine. And he also crashed into some mountains and stuff. But yeah, he didn't survive, unfortunately. But this week's guy was very, very, very fortunate. And the other gliding guys, they could actually see it happen. He touched, and then he went round, and he tried to land on the uphill slope of the mountain, and he nearly made it, but then he went over the top and he went down the other end and crashed like that. So fortunately, the speed was not so high. It was not at full flying speed, as I say, which is easily way over 200 kilometers an hour. But still, the whole front of the glider is gone. The fact that he's alive is an absolute miracle. Anyway, okay, yeah, it's about time for Tom to come up. He's too busy on the keyboard. He must solder a bit more. But he's on the roof, so maybe he's soldering there. Okay, guys, cheers. 73s from Worcester, I'll be listening from ZS1 Mike. And I give it to Martin, G4FKK, for the group from ZS1MM.
Yeah, thanks, Leon. ZS1 Mike, G4FKK returning. Well, just drop my notes. I was just going to see. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, very good. And yeah, these flying stories, especially the ones crashing in mountains, Leon. I'm a lapsed PPL, so I have got a pilot's license, but I need to get it revalidated. But I'm not over tempted these days. It's very expensive, and I'm retired now, theoretically, and they keep changing the rules. You can't fly here anymore, and you can only fly this high somewhere else. So, and you have to keep up with all this sort of stuff. And since I retired, there's too many other things happening. Brian, G6HFS, yeah, excellent picture. In fact, I didn't notice it was anything unusual. Well, I mean, H264 is not unusual. So I thought it was a very, very impressive first start. A lot better than most of us. So looking forward to seeing you again. I think you said you weren't coming up again on this net today, but we might leave a pause and see what happens. Yeah, and Leon, I noticed a huge difference between 264 and 265 when I first went to 265, but that was because I'd had to upgrade nearly everything else to generate the 265. So yeah, I in theory 265 should look better, but I guess to squeeze all the data and it's doing more compression. So maybe what you gain in one thing you lose in another, and you and I aren't noticing it really. Yeah, 2-to-1 SWR on the potty, Brian. Yes, as it turned out, I had a similar thing here. I noticed I seemed to be running less power over time, and I think it was the wretched cat again. The cat likes to nuzzle up against the patch feed, whatever cats do when they're doing that. And I think she'd bent the reflector slightly, so when I straightened it up again, I'd got about 2.5 dB more gain from it. So they're a bit critical. And Peter, yeah, I remember those power cuts in the. I thought they were great. I was only about 13 or 14, I guess, at the time, but very exciting. The adults weren't so keen, were they? No, my MGB, it's a 1967, but it's not got a crank handle or the hole to put the crank through. In fact, when I bought it, my dad, who had an old Austin Cambridge, says, "Oh, these modern cars, what are you going to do when the battery goes flat?" I know, nothing. So there you go. Yeah, I checked my OBS, 0 frames dropped, Peter, so I think as everyone's saying, there must be something else going wrong when you try OBS. I don't know what, but... yeah, I noticed the eyes thing, and I thought, that's a bit funny. Peter's being a bit shifty, because you were looking away and then your eyes were going like that, and it just looked a bit shifty. And then Martin, it looked the same, Martin, when you looked away and your eyes suddenly slipped back to the camera. So I agree with Benno, it's pretty noticeable. Yeah, very good afternoon to Nigel, by the way. Nigel, I haven't replied to your WhatsApp, and I feel a bit guilty, other than the fact what I use for the local area network here is just an anonymous dongle thing. And I've checked back through. I must have got it off eBay, but I can't find it on my purchase list or anything. So I was going to wait till I got something more useful to say. Well, I can't read. Yeah, Gary, you were saying that ZR6RB broke his ankle falling off a ladder at 1 metre. I once did a safety at heights course at the BBC up I think it was a 700-foot mast in Sutton Coldfield. And I was talking to one of the riggers, and in those days they'd only just stopped using what they call leaning belts. Yeah, so they'd be up on a mast with this leaning belt, which you could fall back, out of backwards. And we were going up in this basket on a 1/4-inch steel bond. It was taking this basket of about 5 of us up. And I said to him, don't you worry about, being 700 foot up. And he's going, "Oh, not really." He said, if you fall off at 30 feet, you're dead anyway. So, scary. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah, the load shedding. Yeah, that sounds a bit awkward. And as Peter was saying, we might have to start planning for that here as well. Frank, great to see you on again. Cracking picture. And as Leon was saying, the thunderstorm was coming across loud and clear. Superb. Benno, you don't know what a messy shack is. I was going to quickly show Matt, actually, if I can find the unsteady cam. I was quickly going to give Matt a guided tour of the shack here. So that's my my main monitor. That's the secondary monitor. But just look at this mess here. That's a microscope. I'm sorry it's not a very good picture from this camera. But that's just the bench. That's just the top shelf of the bench. And then on the bench itself, apart from the watch cleaning machine, which takes up too much room. Oh, it's making me feel quite poorly. There's my ride, by the way, running away. And then the rest of the shack is basically storage of components and watch parts and things. Lots of drawers. Everyone else has already seen this disaster area before, but I thought Matt might be interested. Martin, yeah, I've been checking here, and the ride and the Portsdown and Winter Hill all lock up really quickly and at about the same time. The Portsdown struggles a bit if you suddenly go from 264 to 265 or something's completely different, different FEC or something. But the other two lock up straight away. You can always tell when someone's using the old Minitune software, because the carrier comes up and then you see them just watching the screen for about 30 seconds till they realise they're actually on. So Adam and and Matt, that's a proper shack. Very nice shack. Well, you don't have to live in it, chaps. I think Dave's got it. I can't even see the floor either, Dave. And okay, about the video card you got, yeah, perhaps I do need to upgrade, I don't know. I thought the 1060 was quite good. The only thing I'd say about your audio is great, by the way, but you've got too much sibilance on it, I think. You need to crank that top bit down a bit, maybe a bit of high mid if you're worried about your manly voice there, Martin. And Leon, yeah, our cat, when we got it, it was a sort of rescue cat. It belonged to some friends of my daughter who were students, and they had to move out, so they had to chuck the cat out. And my daughter said, and I said, well, we're not having a cat here. Yeah, we don't need a cat. And she went on and on about it. So I said, well, as long as it's not a kitten, it's got short hair, because I'm a bit allergic to some long-haired cats. And it's had all its injections, it's been done at the vet. She said, oh yes, no, it's fine, it's exactly like that. She brought this thing back and it was a kitten. It was just a ball of fur. Never seen a vet in its life. So I was conned there. But me and the cat are quite good pals now. Right, okay, well I think that's it for me. Sorry to drone on, nothing technical really to discuss. So I think Brian did say he was not coming back again. He's not popped up on the chat to say he's coming back. So if Brian's not there, it's round to you again, Peter. GW7BZY. Cheerio to you and the net. This is G4FKK. I'll be watching till the end, but I won't come back unless called. Bye.
Oh, right, I'll be back on. Yep, mute that. Yeah, got to get used to the terminology the guys use on this medium. Should have said I'll be back for a little chat. Just a bit more update. Yeah, it's basically OBS again on a laptop, fairly modern laptop, only a couple of years old. Dropped frames 0, CPU usage 20.6%, and I've only got it at 15 frames at the moment. But it's just the standard Pluto with the dirty firmware in, etc. So it works on the Portsdown. But at the moment it's just a few USB ports plugged into a hub, a USB 3 hub, powered hub, with the power back in the lead to the laptop disconnected, so all the pieces are using power on the hub. Never had a problem, and that's what I'm using at the moment. Yeah, I first ventured playing with a OBS 28, but as I say, at the moment the LDF 450 is running from the bench across my lap, out the cat flap, through an open garage door, and plumbed straight into the dish, the potty should I say. So yeah, I have noticed that the when I last tested it before I came on, the SWR was just over 2, but that's the last thing. When I first tried, I was only getting about 5 dB into the box. Well, that turned out to be potty in the wrong focal point of the dish, which is what I was playing with this morning. So I've got that back on alignment. But I'll say the next thing I want to do is get the cable run through properly with the other LDF415 cables, because there is a versatile around the back, 40-foot one, 2-section with other aerials on it, but the dishes are just on the corner of the house, which makes it reasonable. It's only a few metre run of a LDF450 straight to the dish potty. Yeah, the amp is a homebrew amp. It's a double pallet one. It's based on the our friend Jim G7 NTG's one of his pallet boards, which I obtained, built it into the appropriate box. Got a 650 watt power supply. What are we running at the moment? 320 watts, 11.8 amps, which is not too bad. So that's basically the station here. The Bluetooth runs into a variable attenuator, another little relay switch box so I can switch between 23 and 13, and the 13 side runs into the AMSAT filtered preamp directly into the amp, so the output is directly SMA back to back connectors straight into the amp, with just a short cable to the changeover relay. That's what we're running here. Anyway, thanks for the feedback, guys. I think perhaps the frame rate could probably go up a bit more. I reservedly set it at 15, but perhaps I'll put it back to 20, see how I go. Anyway, I'll just monitor to the end today, and thanks very much for your feedback, and catch you on soon, and maybe get myself on the Thursday BATC net. I have to get myself sorted. Right, cheers all for today, and I'll hand it round to Peter. GW7B.
G6HFS GW7BY. Okay, Brian, thanks for that. Yeah. Much talk. I am now using OBS. I might think it's that I've got a 4K screen and the little box that showed the data. It was just counting up the frames rather than which I saw on Benno's. So that might be the case. Even with my glasses on, I can't see that small. I need 2 pairs of these. These are the weakest home 1.5s, I think, or 1.25, and which is great because it doesn't hurt my eyes. But on the other hand, I can't really see very well. So I think it's down to, it should have gone to Specsavers, and it's probably, I noticed on yours, Benno, that OBS was counting up the frames and the 0 bad frame sent. So that might be the problem I had. Okay, catch you then, Matt. Good. Looking forward to see you. I was going to say I was looking forward to see you on the. I don't know about a fan, but I do watch your stuff on YouTube for some time now. So I was quite pleased to see that you were coming on ATVs, and AV1. I see conversation there on Sandor. I mean, it's, I don't think you can do. You can't do AV1 with a CPU, I don't suppose. You've got to have a 40 series graphics card, or the equivalent NVIDIA one, and or the Intel one. So I'd have to upgrade my CPU, my GPU graphics card to work AV1, which is, I've seen demonstrations of it working 600 kilobits. Full HD and pretty near faultless. Will it, the cheapest Intel ones? Well, maybe I'll buy that for my old PC. That might be an interesting thing to do with it. That's what you did for AV1. Cool. Although I don't think there is a function on DATV Easy to facilitate it. The other thing that H.264, if you increase the group of pictures, the GOP, to something increase the group of pictures, something ridiculous like 100 or 200, as long as you've got enough buffer on your well, the receiver will receive it or not. It might be questionable with the ride, but that you can get a very good picture out of H.264. I think with Benno there, yeah, it's set sort of medium where it works well enough for everybody. But it would be nice to have facilities to fiddle. DATV Express has in its encoding section some encoder options, like I see a group of pictures, B frames, and what have you, and that is quite handy to play with to get the most out of what you're doing. And something like that on DATV Easy might be fun to play with for those who want to, and not necessarily required for those who are not interested or want it even easier. Yes, Martin KFF. Yes, your old man was right. These modern fangled machines. I had a Morris Oxford as it happened. I used to live in a small holding up in Wales. My parents kidnapped me as a small child, but he worked in. I was born in Hillingdon, and he worked Cowley. I think he worked up in the TV studios or a film studio up that way, making sets and things. And I was kidnapped as a small child and brought to Wales. I think I might have mentioned this before, but I won't go on about it. I'm not bitter. And we used to have a small holding, and I used to drive a Morris Oxford around the field, me and my brother, when we were so small. I used to work the pedals in the footwell, and he used to stand on the seat and steer. So I was brought up with Morris Oxford, and very tough cars, very hard to brake on the field. Excellent stuff. And of course a cranking handle when it wouldn't start. But pushing it would be the way, wouldn't it? That would be the old-fashioned way. Give it a push and jump in. So although my mate, lost his finger doing that, give somebody a push, the boot was open. As it was bump started, the boot closed on his finger, and the car sped away, and with his finger. So you don't have to climb a ladder to have a bad time. But yes, I see the one here in Nebo, people going up on the cage, up the cable. I don't know. That looks a bit dodgy to me, but there we are. I don't think I'd like it too much. Although I was a roofer's mate for many years, not for a few years in my youth, and was quite okay up a ladder and walking on the ridge and around and stuff. Now I go above 9 feet. I get wobbly knees, and I don't know how that's occurred, but it does seem to have. I think that's about it for me. I think if I miss somebody, I said. No, I don't think. Thanks, Leon, for the remarks on my lighting. I've put squares of paper over the ball. I've got an ordinary angle poised lamp pointing at me, which was a bit harsh. So I've made a little roll of black tape and stuck a piece of paper so I can't. The bulb isn't shining directly on me. It's only the reflected light from around it, and the same with the umbrella. And the other one just points towards the ceiling. So it's soft lighting. Soft lighting is the way to go here anyway. And I don't think too much, a little bit of resolution robbed from my features is a bad thing. Because it looked horrendous when I put it looked like Pebble Dash. I think it's too much sharpening going on somewhere. There we go. From GW Samby's Wine. Good evening, good afternoon, etc. to everybody. And thanks.
From Frank saying he won't be on, and I'm also going to close the net now. So this is ZS6YI returning. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I've got a button on my system for beautifying, Peter, and also Martin FKK mentioned it. This beautifying thing on the camera. I've got a button. It's a red button. It's called off. And then all works. Anyway. Righto, it was an interesting net. Cheers to Matt and to all those watching on YouTube as well. Lovely having you guys with us today. It's been very nice. And we look forward to our stallmarts coming back. That's well, and so forth. So we'll have fun next week, I hope. But I want to close the net and just throw it in the air. Wish everyone a wonderful week. Thanks for coming up. Nice seeing everyone as usual. And we hope to try and get Saro back. And I see Ed has not been on for a couple of weeks. So hopefully we'll get them back on. With that, guys, this is ZS6YI going to sign off, throw the net in the air, and maybe Benno wants to take it. So the net can carry on, but I'm not definitely coming back. I've got to go and sort out these guys at the airport. All the best. Thanks for coming on. This is ZS6YI closing net saying 7-3.